The theories of science, don't you just love them? There are theories for everything from space, time, medicine, aerodynamics, evolution, you name it. But if they're just theories, then how can we know for sure that they are true? The answer is that, in everyday life, the word theory is not used in the same way as the word theory is used in science, and this can cause a lot of confusion among those who are not a part of the scientific community. This difference in the way that we use words, compared to how scientists use words, has resulted in many believing that some of the greatest scientific discoveries in history are just theories, and not something that we need to believe. In reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Here's how it works. The scientific method was developed during what we call the Enlightenment, which began in Europe around the year 1680. Prior to the Enlightenment, the world was largely ruled by the Catholic Church, whom considered God to have created everything and that the earth was located in the center of the universe. There was little learning available to ordinary people, and if anybody made claims that conflicted with the authority of the Catholic Church, they could be arrested and even murdered for blasphemy. This was how life was when the church and state were not separated. Galileo Galilei was a scientist who had proposed that the earth was not the center of the universe and in fact orbited the sun. He was imprisoned by the Catholic Church in 1633. Giordano Bruno was a man who suggested that the stars in the night sky might in fact be other suns like our own, with planets and perhaps life around them. For this, he was burned alive at the stake by the Catholic Church in the year 1660. Both Galileo and Bruno turned out to be correct. Over time, ordinary people began to realize that the church was slaughtering innocent scientists whose only crimes were being correct. The result was the Enlightenment, where the brutal dogma of the church was gradually replaced with open learning, and this resulted in great progress for humanity. Part of this process was the development of the scientific method. The method was devised to remove human bias from experiments, to ensure that the truth was found, regardless of whether it conflicted with somebody's religious beliefs. It mattered not whether a scientist liked the results of an experiment, all that mattered was that the results of an experiment could be confirmed as correct by others. The scientific method requires the scientist to devise an experiment that shows their hypothesis is true, and then publish the method and results in a journal, so that other scientists around the world can also test it. If the hypothesis is correct, the other scientists will see the same results and be able to confirm that it is indeed correct. If the hypothesis is wrong, they will publish their opposing results and disprove the hypothesis. In science, a theory is not an idea, it is a well-substantiated explanation for a wide range of phenomena that is supported by a large body of evidence. Scientific theories are formulated through rigorous observation, experimentation, and reasoning. They must meet several criteria to be accepted by other scientists around the world. The theory must generate further hypotheses that can be tested through experiment or observation. It must be possible to prove the theory wrong if contradictory evidence arises. The theory should be able to predict outcomes in similar situations, and other scientists should be able to replicate the results that support the theory. But if all of this is so, then why call them theories at all? Why not just call them facts? A hallmark of scientific theories is that they evolve over time as new evidence becomes available. This adaptability underscores the robustness of the scientific method and also highlights the humility of science. Many opponents of science, particularly religious movements, often try to portray science as arrogant and uncaring of human beliefs. As ever, the reality is very different. Science refers to knowledge as a theory because it understands that there is always more to learn, and that theories can change shape over time as more knowledge is gained. There are several examples of this, but perhaps the most famous is the relationship between Sir Isaac Newton's gravitational theory, published in 1687, and Albert Einstein's theory of special relativity, published in 1905. Isaac Newton's gravitational theory was so accurate that even now, 350 years later, NASA can still use his physics to launch rockets and guide probes across our solar system. But Einstein's work is needed to measure gravity on galactic scales or at velocities approaching the speed of light, where Newton's work is not quite accurate enough to account for such huge scales. Other major theories that affect our everyday lives include the theory of evolution and germ theory. The theory of evolution is supported today by evidence from paleontology, molecular biology, comparative anatomy, and genetics, fields that didn't even exist in Charles Darwin's day. Germ theory explains that microorganisms are the cause of many diseases. This theory has transformed medicine and public health, leading to advances such as antibiotics, vaccines, and sanitation. It's quite likely that germ theory has saved your life if you have ever taken antibiotics or been given a vaccine. In fact, pretty much everything in the world that you live in is a result of the scientific method and the theories that it has produced. Computers, lights, medicine, automobiles, aircraft, spacecraft, cell phones, the internet, the list is endless. All of it exists due to the scientific method and its application by scientists to create the theories that underpin our modern world. The bottom line is that if it's called a theory by scientists, you can be sure that it's been tested repeatedly by multiple scientific studies and disciplines, and is to all intents and purposes a fact. So, the next time somebody tells you that the theory of evolution is just a theory, you'll understand what they're really saying, that it's a fact, and they just haven't understood why. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this presentation, please do share it with others whom you feel might benefit from it, and we hope to see you in the next video.